Ancient Beckoning stream to wash the Apex Arena down with some relaxing PvE content, some repetitive boss cycling. Kind of like with my Sleipnir run. I think it was Sleipnir. I'm not going to be going too over the top trying hard to beat my score on this. Alright, let's see what we got here. This is one of the ones that I set a half-decent score on fairly early, like before I started revisiting them. It's not great. So there's Junny, my guildmate. In 8th. Pretty good. Chung is my guildmate. Orin is my guildmate. And then I'm down here. Rank 28. So 8.5 million, around 8.5 million that I have to beat. I don't have a super good team built for this. I think I'm just going to be using Jugler, Tiaris, Kirikaze are the obvious ones. I'll use Deedlit, and I'll use my 5-star Joshua as well. I don't have Joshua fully built. But I don't have... My Gerold and Layla are only 4-star, and my Brenda is only 3-star, like most Brendas, I think, in the game. So I was considering copying Qtaru's team later and just doing like a trash tier Qtaru run where I use his characters, even though they're not built, and just kind of see what the cycle looks like. But for now, I'm just going to be playing around really casually with this team. So yeah, I have Josh... with his typical PvE setup of passives and firebrands. I have Kiri. I don't have Berserkers or Vikings or Barbarians, whatever they're called, built, so I'm just using heavies on him. Deedlit, Tiny Jess, Tiaris, and I think Qtaru uses Cavalry Jugler now, but I'm so broke. It's literally gold that's stopping me from doing that. Switching Jugler back and forth to Cavalry is too expensive for me. So I think this is the setup I'll run, so in the spirit of casualness, I'm just gonna get started. And if I make any mistakes, that's life. So I'm just gonna get started with Tiaris. And then I'll hop Jugler up into position. I would like to hit with Jess before moving Kirikaze in. So let's bring Joshua up so he can do his first attack from the tree. Otherwise he wouldn't be able to make it up there. Hey, Rainbow Chicken. Just kind of chilling with some, chilling with this big snake. I'm not going to be gunning too hard for my high score, but if I do hit it, I'll hit it. I'm pretty sure this is a team that can relatively easily beat 8.5 million, but we'll see, depending on how many mistakes I make. It is, after all, Saturday again. Alright, so this team not being Qtaru's team, I am going to have to take this hit. I don't think I'll be killing it in 2 turns. So it's 3 straight lines. That's the only real thing that differentiates these like big group attacks of Jorms, is this second one. You don't want anyone in 3 lines together in any of the cardinal directions. The next one is 5 lines, so it's a much wider area like this, but it's only 2 deep, so you can actually hide people behind the line like that. So for this one, you just kind of want to make sure that you have Jormungandr surrounded and your other characters out of range. So for this round, because her stacks aren't fully built up yet, like normally I'd want her standing here, but she can't reach. Her DPS is still stronger than Josh, so I think I'm just going to have Josh move down and not do any damage. If one of them has to do no damage, it's better for it to be Josh than Jess, because she just does so much damage. Yeah, the 5 times attack, you kind of have to find the point in the battle where you can't tank it anymore, and you just have to fully retreat. Once you know that point, you can usually get a few more turns out, but it's kind of a slow grind after that. Oh, see, there's my first casual mode mistake. I should have used attack blessing on him before attacking. Since that's actually going to cost me like a whole person worth of DPS, I am going to rewind. If this was a real run, I'd probably just restart, because you don't want to use clocks this early in the fight. Yeah, see, that was like 30,000 more damage. So I'll finish him off this turn very easily. We'll still start with Jugler, just so his pets can do some work here. Let's see. There, this way Jess and Kirikaze, who are my heavy hitters, can both get the bonus damage from the boss being stunned. I guess I should teleport just to get my cooldown sped up a little bit. See, now she can comfortably reach from out of range. So this is the phase where Jormungandr alternates his damage reduction type. Rather than starting with an attack, I'm going to go ahead and use Master Vice just to get him off his tree again. So what do we have left? We have, she can be melee or ranged, but we have 3 ranged, 2 melee. So we're going to want to start with a ranged attack. Later on, I'm going to have to start paying more attention to when I use her Sea of Miracles. So then we'll go ranged. And melee. And then I can close with a ranged attack. So now when he hits Deedlit, he won't have his melee damage reduction. So we'll open with a classic old melee attack now with Jugler. I'm just going to get her out of the way. And get attack blessing back up. I don't want her standing beside Kirikaze when he does attack. Because of his infantry tech. So one problematic thing about Deedlit in a battle like this that's so positional is because of her talent, she likes to move before attacking. So usually she can't do this, but she caught a Tenyo's Breeze or something, so she's going to be able to. I'll just attack. I'll save that Sea of Miracles. I'm going to be able to probably kill him on this turn. If I wasn't going to be able to kill him on this turn, this is the famous 5 times damage mod attack. So I'd be setting up to let Joshua take the hit, because he can do counter damage. Whereas if you move your whole team out, then you're losing a bunch of DPS. But I think because I'm going to be able to knock him out here, I'm just going to wail on him without really considering. So next is melee. And then range. And then melee. And range. Just to get some DPS out of Tiaris since the snake is down right now. Yeah, Max, that's actually a nice thing about being able to use Deedlit as a melee attacker, because with this party setup, I kind of need her to be my melee unit, but I can still use her range skills from melee range just to do extra damage. So Jugler doesn't have any source of water up right now, so we're going to have to just start fighting him on the tree. I might as well miracle up and get out of Kirikaze's way. I'm also not in a big rush to reposition anyone yet, so I'll just use this teleport for cooldown purposes. Didn't quite break 100,000 there. So his attack blessing's down. He doesn't have rotating damage reduction now, so I'm able to just kind of attack in whatever order I want. The reason I just came down here was just so that she could get her int bonus from moving before attacking. I'll get her back out of Kirikaze's way next turn. Hey, Joy Enrique. Welcome to the stream. We're just chilling in here tonight with Jormungandr. Nothing too serious. So we will have to watch our positioning for this line attack. So now I'm actually able to move Jess out of the way, so she can come down here and attack without having to worry about making any of the directions too enticing for Jormungandr to fire his slime in that direction. She's right in a corner here. So like, this would be a block of 3 that he would attack down this way, or this would be a block of 3 that he would attack over here. Deedlit's gonna go back home. Tiaris is similarly going to sneak into a corner where she doesn't matter. Get Kirikaze buffed back up. Josh is technically on the left side here, even though he's a little bit askew. He's who Jorm's looking at over there. And then our champion, Kirikaze, comes in for another big flash. Definitely lots of room to improve this team. So I should be finishing him this round, so I'm not going to waste one of my water attacks. And I'm not going to be too worried about positioning for this big line attack. Or the SWAT, or whatever it's called. Because we're just not worried about it. I am going to go ahead and teleport just because I want her 3C to cool down faster for the next phase. Oh, that doesn't matter. Doesn't matter right now. Contribute 8,000 damage. The important part of that was getting her healing light on everyone at the end of the turn. Okay, so we are back to the rotating phase. I will go ahead and splash some water around with Jugler here. And then we'll start with a ranged attack. Yeah, let's go with her first. So that's a melee attack. So we got a ranged attack. And we got a melee attack. And I might as well just top attack blessing up now. Jugler, still doing a pretty good job keeping us healed. So he'll open up, get those hellhounds on him. So we are at A+ already. This is just another normal attack coming up, so I'm not too worried about positioning yet. Just the cycling damage types. Melee. Then we'll go range, just to give Deedlit some extra damage on the counter. Or Jugler, I forgot he's still in guard mode after using his 3C. Alright, so this would be the 5 times damage attack. I don't think I'm going to have to do any shenanigans to get positioned for Josh to tank this, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to finish him off this turn. But when the next cycle comes around, we'll reevaluate what my damage is looking like. So I'm just going to wail on him for this turn. And we've hit S, so that's S rank taken care of on phase 4. But we are shooting for 8.5 million, if possible. I don't know if it's going to be possible on a casual run like this. So we'll get the damage bonus from the boss being stunned now. We'll go range. I'm just going to move her up. Don't want to interfere with Kirikaze's techs. Well, Rainbow, the troop training and such is doing a lot of work here for me, so don't worry, you don't have too far to go before you're cracking out 4 million points. Alright, I do have Master of Ice ready and waiting to get him off the tree again at the start of this phase. There's no rush to the leaderboards, to be honest. As long as you can keep slowly improving and grind out an S rank for those rewards, then that's really the main thing. So we're starting to take a lot of counter damage. Probably doesn't bode well for being able to fully double my score. I guess I could have done this. Now we'll get Kiri's attack in before Deedlit moves over and starts interfering with his infantry tech. Which she is going to do. Kirikaze gets to tank this one because Deedlit's not up there in the corner. I should actually probably move him over there on this phase just so he starts taking more of those hits. He does more counter damage than she does. I think I might as well do that. Probably would have been a non-casual thing to do from the very start of the fight. But we are casualing it up right now. So she can get back out of range, still attack. And I will put Kiri over here where he can start taking hits. That's not a nice one. Over 100,000 again. Haven't seen that in a few turns. How far away can I get and still sieve miracles everyone? Because I'd like to be able to move in. That'll hit everyone. Respectable, and some nice incidental healing with that Gift of Eternal Life. Definitely not as gifted in terms of incidental team healing as Gerold and Layla would be. If I do have time to throw together a trash tier Qtaru run later on and run my 4-star Gerold and Layla, we'll see just how much crazy healing they can do. So I think I'm going to be able to kill him again before he gets a chance to do the sweep, so I'm, again, not going to be too concerned with positioning, and I'll just wail on the boss. But again, like I mentioned, next cycle that might be a bit more of a concern, so I'll have to position for it. Oh, she almost finished him. I wonder if I can actually have Tiaris finish him at melee range. Yep. Okay, so everyone's going to get some bonus stun damage now. Over 100 again with that attack blessing on a stunned snake, and we are almost at 5 million points. Okay, so here we are at the start of yet another even phase. And I'm one turn away from being able to freeze him off his tree, so we'll just attack for now. That's a melee attack. Then we'll take a ranged attack from Jess. Might as well use our Kiri now. And then melee from Deedlit. And then if we really want Kiri to do extra damage on the counter here, then it's pretty much my responsibility to have Tiaris do a ranged attack, just to flip that damage reduction mod. So Kiri's going to take the hit to the tune of 40 to 50 grand. Alright, so next regular attack coming in. I'm going to be able to get him off the tree. And then we'll just start with a ranged attack. I'm going to go with attack blessing this turn. So unfortunately, he is going to have the melee damage reduction on the counterattack from Jugler here, so yeah, that did barely anything. But that's the way the cycle goes sometimes. Alright, so this is the big 5 times slap. This is the one that will insta-kill pretty much anyone, usually. I don't think I'm going to be doing 260 grand in this turn to avoid it. So what I am going to be doing is having Josh tank it with damage reduction. So the way the skill works is he'll prioritize attacking a ranged unit that's in range of the skill. So if I leave Josh in range of the skill, I can leave all my melee units also in range. Meaning they get to do some DPS this turn instead of spend their turn running away. So they can stay in there, hang in there, do some DPS, and poor old Josh will take the hit. Yeah, Max, that's exactly what's happening. Jormungandr, by default, is sitting on a tree tile, so he's getting 20% extra defense. So every time Jugler uses one of those skills, it effectively puts Jormungandr in water, which removes that terrain damage or defensive buff. We'll start with melee since the damage reduction cycle is still in effect. Then we'll go range, getting Josh into range of the skill. We are going to want him to be at 100% health so he can get damage reduction from his last rites. Depending on what Deedlit does, this is actually a really close round. So using the 3C there beside Josh also gives him an additional 25% damage reduction. He's got 40% from his last rites. He's got 30% damage reduction from his Ruthless passive. So that puts him at, what, 95% damage reduction right now? Plus, Jormungandr has damage dealt decreased by 20% from Jessica's staff. So that's 115% effective damage reduction, and then if I were to use Sea of Miracles and Miracle from Tiaris, that would also stack up some more damage reduction. We'll go ahead and use Sea of Miracles and then move back into attack. Yeah, on the offhand chance that we don't need all that effort setting up Josh to tank the hit. Still didn't quite need to do it yet this turn, but it was close enough that I think we'll probably need to do it next cycle. So we're about to hit 6 million. And we're back to the odd phase. So Master of Ice is back up, so I'll go ahead and strip Jormungandr off the tree again. Getting me a couple of rounds of extra damage from him not having that defensive bonus. And I can go ahead and teleport myself. Later on, I like to keep the teleport in my back pocket a little bit in case I do need to move someone out. Instead of teleporting myself to do those cooldowns, I could also be doing sneaky stuff like teleporting Deedlit further away so that she is always getting her movement buff. That's probably something I would do on a non-casual, non-Saturday night run. As well as remembering to use Miracle before attacking with half my team. Jugler still healing fairly nicely. Let's get his Hellhounds back in action here. And we'll remember our positioning to make sure that we don't get slime balled. Not quite reaching 100,000 damage anymore with Kiri. But I think we'll still be in good enough shape, especially after that counter, to finish him off this round and yet again not have to deal with the sweep. So we'll start with Hellhounds. The Dobermans, speaking of Hellhounds, the Dobermans are actually being fairly quiet tonight. I'm not sure what's going on up there. Just in case we don't do that much damage, I'll put Jessica way back here. Oh, we're definitely going to be doing that much damage, though. Kiri can take care of this on his own. Let's see if we can stun him first, just so Kiri can do some extra damage. So we're almost at 7 million now. I knew you could get in there. Get that healing light on everyone. Looks like I'm probably going to be a little bit late to the last Apex window tonight because I'm not dying as fast as I thought I would be. So I don't have any source of water yet, so Jugler's just going to attack and get his Hellhound debuff on. So that's starting with melee. Then we'll go with a ranged attack. Really, this whole time I should have been doing her ranged attacks from the mountain for a little bit of extra defense. It hasn't mattered yet, but maybe in the future. Then we'll have a melee attack. I'm going to keep her Sea of Miracles up my sleeve for the big sweep attack this round. Just in case it's needed this time. It wasn't last time. I had it ready. Her Miracle will be ready too. His attack blessing is off, so that's what Tiaris will be doing this round. So we'll start with Jugler. Obviously, my Jugler doesn't have his bracer on, or he wouldn't be taking all that fixed damage. But we're getting a little bit of backup healing from Jessica as well. do Deedlit first. Just so we're topping up the maximum number of healing lights. When Tiaris takes her turn, casting Attack Blessing on Kiri. So she'll do that now. Then Kiri should eat another regular attack here. Alright, this is the get in position for the stomp round again. And I'm definitely not going to be finishing him this turn. 340,000 hit points. So another melee attack. These guys shouldn't be too worried about their lives, because Joshua is right in Jormungandr's sights. I do need to use a teleport to get my 3C back. Which will do some team healing for me and also give Joshua some damage reduction. We have the Sea of Miracles ready for some more damage reduction and some healing just to top people up. Joshua has to be at 100% for this to work. And then I'll just move Tiaris out of range as well. Put Miracle up for some more damage reduction, and he should use the 5 times stop move on Josh. Josh should be able to... Yeah, Josh should be able to survive that with all of his damage reduction. So effectively, all of that wrangling and positioning and stacking up skills lets us stay in the mix and do damage. I think I did damage with almost everyone on my team that turn, instead of running away, which is what you'd normally have to do. So now next we have another tail sweep. This one's the same as the one on the odd phases. The only difference is that it's 7 straight lines instead of 5. So it covers pretty much the entire 2 rows in any direction from him. But I think I'm going to be able to kill him here without having to worry about that. Oh, her act again wasn't ready because I got the skill cooldown from Sea of Miracles last turn. That's right. Just so used to seeing teleport and thinking that my cooldown's ready. That is worth a rewind at this late stage. We're less than 1 million away from my high score. And then a ranged attack, and then finally Kirikaze's big melee attack. And then we're back to the odd phase. Arguably the easier phase? Alright, so her act again is definitely ready now. So we are reaching the point where it's starting to get dangerous to attack with her. His attack blessing must be down. Yeah. Oh, I Mess You Up is asking in the secret chat, why this boss is still alive? That's a fair question. All these ancient Beckoning bosses actually live forever. Well, not necessarily forever. There is a turn limit of 99 rounds, and some of the bosses, I think some of the Chinese leaderboarders, do go to 99 rounds. Maybe Hugin and Munin. But the point of these ancient Beckoning battles is essentially to do as much damage as you can. There's kind of like a soft time limit built in the sense that every turn, so every turn that goes by, the boss's stats all increase, and they keep increasing and increasing until eventually, obviously, your team just disintegrates. So a big part of the strategy is trying to shotgun as much damage as you can earlier in the fight while the boss's stats are still manageably low. But then after that point, you're really just trying to keep your team together and keep your cycle going until something inevitably falls apart. Either, like, the things that are dangerous here are Jugler's passive team healing not being enough to keep up with the AoE damage that the boss does at the end of every turn like that. Or some of your weaker characters like Jessica attacking into the boss and then taking way too much counter damage. Or things like the big moves, like the big stomp move on the last phase. Finally just doing way too much damage for Joshua to be able to tank it. So that's actually why the leaderboards are fairly interesting, because all things being equal, it really promotes people like Qtaru and the Lord Thy God, on my server at least, and there are a bunch of other awesome players on other servers, to come in and build really interesting and unusual units who can fill a certain role really well, and then try to ride that to a little bit of a score boost every time. So I'm very close to my high score now. I think it's actually like 8.6 something something million. So if I get these first two numbers to be 8.7, then I am treading new ground. Which, from the looks of things, will be right at the tail end of this phase, if I get some overflow damage. Or possibly early in the next phase. Oh, I totally forgot my positioning there, and I'm going to use one of my clocks. After that lengthy explanation of how the mechanics work, I forgot what turn I was on. That was one of the positioning is important turns. That's why this is a casual Saturday night run, my friends. So the only real change I would make there is that Jessica's going to come down here into the corner, out of range of that line attack. Normally on this turn, Tiaris would go all the way down here and use Attack Blessing on Kirikaze, but he is currently nicely Attack Blessing, so I think she's going to go down here and just top up these weaklings. We'll fill her up, actually. Alright, so he shouldn't do that slime move this time, because I positioned correctly. And now this should be, it looks like the first phase in the entire fight that I actually am going to take this sweep. So positioning is fairly similar to this last move. You just can't be, so if I were lined up like this, I would take a sweep here because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so these 5 lines. These 2 would be within the same area of effect, so he would sweep that way. So you just have to be a little bit more creative. For example, Jess can go back here. Actually, I think this is one of those times that I will use her teleport on someone else. Tiaris, you go get ready over there. You can come back later. So with her being back here, she's the attack is only 2 rows deep, so she's beyond the range of the attack, so she won't be a target over here. Now if I left Josh on the tree, then he would do the 5-line sweep attack down this way because Josh and Deedlit are in the same direction. So I'm just going to bring Josh up here, just for now. Thanks, Soda. It's pretty good for a chill casual run. I've been making little mistakes, and I'm sure if Professor Q were in the chat, he would be telling me all the things that I'm not optimizing. Which is true and fair. I'll actually go down here and heal Deedlit. But, I mean, it does go to show that I set my high score of 8.6... like however many months ago? It was a while ago. It was definitely several cycles ago. So, Kiri or Jugler? Yeah, Kiri's gonna take this one. And we are about 100,000 damage away from breaking my record now. And I'm going to be able to knock him out this turn. It's a normal attack turn anyway, so don't really need to worry about positioning too much. Soda, what's your score on Jormungandr? You actually have a really good score on this, if I remember. Like, you're 10 or 11 million, aren't you? I think you have a really strong team built for this. Alright, so that is my new high score. Now we'll just see how far we can go. I always say my goals, in order, are to pass each of my guildmates, and then to get into the top 10, and I think Junny is my highest scoring guildmate with around 13 million on this one, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to pass him on this run. Oh, Soda, you're at 8.9, so I'm about to pass you, too. We're not on the same server, but it is definitely a psychological barrier, getting past the dreaded Popinski. Thanks, Max. I'm going to hang on to her 3C for the damage reduction on Josh in 2 turns. So I think my next score to beat... I think my next score to beat is Orin from my guild. And then after that will be Chung. And I think those might be beatable scores. And then I think it's around 10 million to get into the top 10 on my server. Just over 10 million, I think. Yeah, if you put up 8.9 million with a 5-star T-Jess, that's... you have a promising future ahead of you. As much as I'm saying this is like a casual, non-optimal team, all these characters are very well built, except for Josh, who's only 5 stars. So that's kind of the weak point of my roster. So we have another normal round of a normal attack here. We are definitely running out of turns where T-Jess can survive attacking into this boss. So we're up to about 9.3. Now I'm going to take this hit. I'm actually not going to use Miracle yet. I'll use that next turn. I didn't need to heal him there. I could have attacked with Tiaris, which would have let Kirikaze do more counter damage. Alright, so we're going to get sit back up. We're actually in pretty dangerous levels of health here. Josh needs to get in early so that he can take these fixed stacks, so that all the rest of our healing moves will top him up. I feel like going with Jess now is dangerous. I mean, we just did a ranged attack, so I have to do melee anyway. So then we'll go with Jess with 3C to get the damage reduction on Josh. Woo! Not too many turns of her attacking left. Not too many turns of her attacking left. I'm gonna Miracle now, because Kirikaze's gonna heal himself anyway. So let's see what Josh has for damage reduction. He has his last rites, he has damage taken from Ruthless, he has the damage reduction from Jess's Holy Shield, he has damage taken minus 15 from Miracle. So he should be able to comfortably eat this hit. This 5 times damage insta-kill attack. I mean, if you call that comfortable. That was convincing. I think I have a couple more phases of that. And now we're on 7-line sweep. So the positioning that I had set up last time will actually still work, because all that mattered was the depth of those line attacks. So I'll do something similar. She can't get all the way up there, so she's going to have to go from down here. It looks like we're going to finish him off anyway. So in honor of that, I'll go ahead and get my attack blessing up on Kiri. It would be funny to finish him with one of those little piddly fixed stacks. I Mess You Up can feel 10 million, and it is right around the corner. I think that's a fairly safe bet, I Mess You Up. We say that. You never know what can happen. I do still have some clocks up my sleeve, too, in case I make any mistakes. This is where you start really kind of refining things, like making little mistakes, getting killed on a counterattack unexpectedly, and then rewinding. Is this a turn where I can... Nah, it doesn't really matter. I mean, I guess I might as well. Teleporting anyway. Don't need to teleport Jess. Yeah, you get on your defensive mountain. One thing that's funny about lengthy Ancient Beckoning runs is my mouse is starting to die. Let's heal Kirikaze up just so he does maximum damage with that attack blessing. Down to 70,000 for an attack blessing Kirikaze hit. That's sad. Let's see what kind of work Jugler does here. Definitely not filling everyone up anymore. Alright, Kong, pay attention. This is the positional attack again. Don't get distracted and kill your whole team again. Alright, Mouse, if you're gonna keep doing stuff like that. We do have to bail Tiaris out of here. There's 10 million for you, I mess you up. I'm 99% sure that puts me past Oren and maybe Chung from my guild. So Junny is the last man standing that I have to take down. But that's 13... he has over 13 million, and the chances of me getting another third of my score on top of this, relatively slim. Relatively slim. So we'll get behind the line to safety. Quote-unquote safety at this point. The Apex window started up 15 minutes ago, so I suspect viewership and interest in a casual Ancient Beckoning run is going to take a minor hit. I should really get some more matches done this weekend. Since Bernhardt's 3C came out, the only opportunity I've really had to use it has been in my Summit Der Langrisser matches. So that was my first time I got to use old Bern's 3C. So yeah, I definitely need way more games with him. The thing about something like Bern's 3C coming out, it's not just like adding a new character to your box that you have to get rid of. You also have to remove someone from your box to slot them in, and then it's a whole debate about who you take out, and then how that ripple effects across your picking ban. So that's all the stuff, really, that I have to iron out for myself, more so than just how to use Bern effectively in my team. Do I really want to take out my third tank and try to go with 2 tanks? Because the pick and ban for that kind of box is so different than what I was used to. So this is another normal attack phase. Shouldn't be a big problem. it looks like Kiri's going to finish things off this turn. Thank you, Kiri. Am I going to do some Apex after this casual run, Max? I probably am. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to do some Apex in this window or not. If I do, though, I'm not going to stream it just because this has been a long stream. And I really would like to go upstairs and lay down on the couch with a Doberman and play on my phone a little bit. So, yeah, with this whole setup here in the studio, it's a little more difficult to get comfortable. For something like Apex, that's important. I will be streaming some Apex, though, later on in the season. Maybe tomorrow, even. Yeah, I don't really like Burn as a tank, though. I don't know if he works super, super well like that. I know he can. He's really hard to kill. But I don't like relying on him to protect my other teammates. So we open with range. Melee. Range. Melee. And range. Alright, so Kiri should have full damage on this counterattack. Every little bit of that helps at this point. Those AoEs are going to start eating me for lunch in the next couple turns. So it's another normal attack turn. And it looks like I'm not going to have Miracle ready to help protect Josh next turn. So that's not going to be good. I'm going to save the skill for next turn when I use Sea of Miracles to run in further. Looks like we are going to crack 11 though, I mess you up. Alright, are we going to survive this AoE? Barely. Across the board, barely. No Miracle. Sea of Miracles is going to have to do some really heavy lifting here.